Deep discounts on hundreds of used cars. Plus, we always pay top dollar for your trade. View our inventory online anytime at wesleychapelnissan.com.
Welcome back to 10 News this morning. Our nation is in the 6th year of the war on terror. American casualties exceed 4,000. One soldier who made the ultimate sacrifice is Sergeant Mike Rowe of Newport Richey. Friday marked the 2-year anniversary of his death. And Meredith, you recently visited the Rowe family, and initially you went there to do a different kind of story.
We did. Many people that watch our show may be familiar with How We Roll. It's a feature report that I do on Thursdays. And so photojournalist John Deal and I went out to do a story with Sergeant Rowe's dad, David, who took his Harley and transformed it into a memorial to his son. It was a neat story in itself. But while we were there, we thought we'd be there for an hour. We ended up staying for 3 or 4 hours. And the Rowe family, they really opened up to John and I. They said the second year without their son was worse than the first. And they also shared some private messages that their son left behind. Those messages are helping them cope with their loss.
The little boy whose laugh carried on the wind is gone, but his mother believes his spirit is still here.
You know, at times I just feel he's so far away, and that's when I need to go outside. That's when I need to, and one way or another, he comes through to me.
Marcy Rowe knew the day she hugged her only son goodbye, it was for good.
Moms just know things. You just know things.
She would find out sons know things too. Michael Rowe wasn't large in stature, but had a huge heart.
That my son loved life. He loved people. He loved helping people. He always wanted to help people.
So it was no surprise when Mike left his family and pregnant bride and answered the call of duty. But he stayed in touch, even if his family couldn't always answer his call.
One, that's it. Hi, Mom, Dad. I was hoping to get you, but I guess you're out. I'll try calling later on today. I love you both very much.
3 days after leaving this message, Mike was killed by an IED while he was leading a convoy.
I knew that he was doing one of the most dangerous jobs over there. I always felt that he'd come through.
Though he dreamed of growing old with his family, it's as if Mike knew it wasn't meant to be. The clues are in his words. They're in the name he chose for his daughter, Nevaeh. Heaven backwards. And there's this poem found after Mike's death.
So it has finally come, words that shan't be spoken. My life must be done, hearts must be broken. Fear not, my dearest family, for I am not alone. I rest with many loved ones in my eternal home.
Just as the final message on his parents' answering machine came 3 days before his death, Mike had written the poem 3 days before he was deployed.
Continue on, dear Father. I always admire your strength. I know this is painful, but is something you can take.
His father's pain is soothed when he rides into the wind. A motorcycle he'd planned to give his son is a memorial to him instead. Mike's mother finds some comfort in the wind too, and in the birds, the trees, the sunrise.
Look for me in nature's beauty. That is where I will reside. Remember me always, for this is my goodbye. Michael Rowe.
Mike also left behind a sister, I'm sorry, with the permission of David, Marcy, and Mike's sister, Megan. I've reprinted Mike's poem in its entirety at TampaBay's10.com, and since the story ran last night at 11, some viewers have left comments, including this one. They said, you can always be proud of what your son accomplished and the supreme sacrifice he made on behalf of all Americans. Sorry, guys. Ginger, back to you.
You have absolutely nothing to be sorry about, Meredith. And we are joined now this morning by Marcy and David Rowe, Mike's parents. And we want to say thank you for being here with us this morning. And I know it is such a hard thing to do, but what a beautiful tribute to your son. And obviously, so many people have been touched by his story. But you are afraid, Marcy, that your son will be forgotten.
By others, not by us,
Of course
obviously,
not.
and anyone that knew him. But as time goes on, you can't help but worry.
Yeah,
that
absolutely. How do you hope to keep his memory alive?
Through his daughter, Nevaeh.
Yeah.
And by sharing stories with her and teaching her about her dad, by all the friends and everyone that knew him. We once a year, usually on his birthday, we have a little party or something. But just in that way, with the motorcycle, working on that, we take that to bike shows and things, you know. So it's in that way that we're trying.
Sure, and we were talking last night by telephone, and you were saying that you see so much of Mike in Nevaeh. Tell me a little bit about her.
She's such a wonderful little baby. She's rapidly getting into her terrible twos now, but she's a spitting image of my son all over again in her actions. Always getting into trouble, you know, no fear. She's just a wonderful little kid, you know, and like I said, it's just like almost like reliving my son's youth again.
Sure, and certainly that's keeping his memory and his legacy alive. And I know you say when he said goodbye, you kind of knew something as a mom. As a dad, did you have a feeling as well?
No. I'm a Vietnam era veteran. I didn't think anything was going to happen, even though I knew he was in one of the most dangerous jobs over there. Marcy didn't know. I didn't think anything was going to happen. I was totally shocked when we found out he was killed.
Sure. It has been such a hard thing, I know, for you to talk about, but 2 years. He died the day before his 24th birthday.
Yes.
How hard was that?
Very, very hard. Very hard. But in a way fitting almost to me. We don't have two dates that we have to mourn. His birthday and his date, that they're so close. And you know, we release 23 balloons for him on his birthday and do things like that. But yeah, it's each year, I mean, it's time goes on, it doesn't make it easier, maybe a little, but
sure. And we've put that very special poem that he wrote. It's all on our website. And the part that I found just so beautiful, and not only the tribute to his sister, but the fact that he said, look for him in nature. And you say you see a sign of that all the time.
I do. A bald eagle flies over our house. One had flown over at Bushnell during the service, and everyone saw it. And every day, almost every day, about the same time, a bald eagle flies over the house. And I look at it and I say, hi, Mike.
Yeah.
And things like that. I just...
Yeah, and one last question for you. You know, everybody always thinks if you just had one more day with that special someone, what would that one more day be like for you? What would you do?
For me, it would be just...
That's tough. That would...
hug him and hold him and play, and just he was such a cheerful soul and so loving and everything else. And yeah, one more day would be spent every single minute with him, just holding on to him.
Well, David and Marcy Rowe, thank you so much for sharing your story and sharing your son, and thank you for having such a wonderful son, and thank you for his service. Thank you for your service to this country, and we thank Michael for his service to this country.
I'd like to thank you people for
thank you so much.
Letting Michael's story get out.
Yeah, and it has touched so many people. Meredith read one email, and we're already receiving many more.
Really?
And I'll print them out and give them to you, because I think it will give you some comfort to read that as well. So thank you once again. And we also want to say thank you to all the other men and women who have served this country so greatly and so well, and who have made the ultimate sacrifice. And right now, we want to leave you with a look at all of those Bay Area soldiers. You won't be forgotten. You've lost your life fighting the war so we can sleep at night. And thank you so much for doing that.